Hi. This is to the people who believe in hell and think those of us who don't follow their God will be thrown there by him. I want you to think seriously for a few minutes about this place you nonchalantly tell us we're going. I got to thinking about hell the other night, really thinking about it. And I doubt most people do that often or at all. I mean, why would we? It's the most horrible nightmare we can imagine. And even the Bible says we should think on things that are lovely and praiseworthy. Obviously, a place where people on fire is neither. Hell is described in the Bible as a bottomless pit. So anybody thrown there is always fallen, it would seem. It's a place of outer darkness where, interestingly, the children of the kingdom will be cast. So I'd imagine no light at all. It's a fire, so the inhabitants of hell will always be burning. Now, you'd think fire would make light, so I don't know how there's outer darkness, but whatever. According to the Bible, those in hell are in misery and gnashing their teeth. Oh, and it lasts not for a day or a month or year, but forever. At least this seems to be the fundamental view of hell. Obviously, some Christians don't even believe this place exists, and some probably see it only as a place of mental torture, like, maybe sadness over missing out on heaven. And of course, some don't think the word hell even refers to anything regarding the afterlife. But the image of hell I grew up with, and I'm confident fundamental Christians believe in, is what I've described here. So let's consider this place and really imagine it. Most of us know that if this doctrine of hell is true, many of our loved ones, many of us as well, will end up there. So I want you Christians who accept this view of hell to imagine standing there looking into it. Your baby is there, you know. If not, then your sister or brother or mother or father or grandmother. It's almost certain that someone you love deeply is burning, and you get to watch. I mean, if you're not in hell yourself, which you probably will be, since the likelihood of your being one of the 1% is slim to none, right? So anyway, you're standing there watching, say, your sweet daughter burn in the flames of hell. She's looking into your eyes and pleading with you to help her. Obviously, you can't do anything to stop your precious child's pain, but the thing is, you don't want to. You don't want to help your own daughter. No, and in fact, you're clapping or doing a thumbs up. Maybe not physically, but you're approving of what's happening to your daughter. You're saying, "Yes, Yahweh, this is good and holy. My daughter deserves this. You are so wise, Yahweh, and so good to do this to my daughter. I tried to tell her you existed. I showed her all the writings that ancient men left us, but she didn't believe. Burn her, Yahweh, burn her good." Yes, indeed, that's what you're doing. So don't even try to deny it. The saints under the altar are begging for this fire to be kindled so they can be avenged. And soon enough, you'll be right there with them begging your sweet Jesus to burn your baby. Yes, you will wholeheartedly approve of the burning of your loved ones. And you'll get down and grovel at the feet of the one burning them. And if he requests it, you'll shovel the coal to burn your family. You might say, but hell was made for the devil and his angels, not for humans. To say that, to that I say bullcrap. If the Bible is true and this place exists, Yahweh made it and he knew exactly who would end up there, and knew it would be full of almost all humans who ever lived. And you know what? Even if it was just the devil and his angels, how does that make your God any better? The devil and his angels obviously feel pain too. Otherwise, what's the point of making hell for them? More than that, why did Yahweh make the devil and his angels to begin with when he knew how it was all going to turn out? And in fact, knew that these creations of his were going to destroy almost all of the humans he made. How stupid is he? And again, remember that very few humans end up in heaven. Most people go to hell according to Jesus because most walk on the broad way to destruction. The funny thing about all this is that your precious God is the author of all evil. He has to be. After all, he created not only us, but also the devil, knowing that most of us would, according to your belief system anyway, serve the devil rather than him. The devil's more appealing. After all, Yahweh's evil and scary. Even my children, when they were young, knew whom to blame for evil. They get into an argument and start placing blame on one another. Then one of them would say it was the fault of their dad and me for having them, and another would say it was Yahweh's fault for making us. At that point, the argument ended, as my children figured they were messing where they shouldn't have been messing. The point is, they knew, and you should know too. And I'll tell you something else that you know. You know that if any being other than your particular God made a place like you think hell is and sent almost all of humanity there, you'd think it was the most evil behavior in the whole world. Yes, you absolutely would, and yes, you know it. Do you know that someone recently said that maybe not all aborted babies go to heaven? Why? Because their parents are evil, that's why. And the biblical passage offered was this, 1 Corinthians 7:13 and 14. And the woman which hath an husband that believeth not, and if he be pleased to dwell with her, let her not leave him. For the unbelieving husband is sanctified by the wife, and the unbelieving wife is sanctified by the husband. Else were your children unclean, but now they're holy. So children born to so-called sinners are unclean, and thus don't deserve to go to heaven, even if they die in the womb or as a newborn. This was used to justify Yahweh's drowning of babies during the flood. But you know what else it justifies? It justifies Yahweh in making a baby, because we know he's the one who makes all babies. When he knows for a fact that he's going to send that baby to hell because it's going to die in the womb, since he didn't knit it together properly, and the woman is going to have a miscarriage. And if neither the mother nor father is a Christian, yes, according to the person who said this, that baby may be bound for hell. By the way, did you know that about 10% to 20% of known pregnancies end in miscarriage? That's known ones. So it's probably a whole lot more. And you can imagine that most of these pregnant women aren't Christians. Sounds like your God's going to be burning tons of babies, doesn't it? Oh, and if indeed this is the case, if the passage actually teaches that these babies are unclean and bound for hell, then it also teaches that an unbelieving husband of a Christian woman can go to heaven because he is sanctified. A grown, non-Christian man goes to heaven because he married a Christian woman. But a baby conceived by a non-Christian woman married to a non-Christian man goes to hell. Yeah, the innocent baby burns, but the grown man, doing as he pleases, is sanctified and sent to heaven. And justify that if you can. I'm going to tell you something right now, and I hope you'll listen carefully and think about it. Do you believe that the hell that I have described exists and that babies will be in it, writhing and screaming, yet you worship the God you think is going to put them there? You're despicable. I don't know what kind of heart could think a God would do such a thing and also be good and worthy of worship. But truthfully, this is the case, even if the residents in hell are simply those of us who don't believe Yahweh's real. It's true if the residents are those who lie or cheat or steal. It's true if the residents are people like Hitler or Jeffrey Dahmer, who supposedly will be in heaven, of course, because he said sorry. And, well, Hitler was a Christian, so maybe he'll be there too. I mean, he surely said sorry before he died. Yes, probably several mass murderers will escape hell, but decent people who simply don't accept ancient writings won't. And again, obviously, some believe that even the unborn babies of non-Christians may be in hell. And you know what else? Even if you think the only beings who end up in hell will be the devil and his angels, and you're okay with that, knowing how badly they will suffer because they didn't want to kowtow to a jealous and vengeful God, it's still bad. Nobody and no being at all deserves what y'all think hell is going to be. Can you not see that? And as I said, can you not see that if hell exists as you think, and was created by your God. He is the one responsible for misery and pain and anguish for almost every sentient being capable of talking and reasoning on at least a human level, and maybe even babies who can't talk. When we discuss the problem of evil in the world, you Christians are quick to blame all evil, including tornadoes and tsunamis, on humans. But Yahweh made hell. Hell, y'all. And if this hell is as you seem to think, that humans burn forever in it, nothing humans could possibly do trumps that sort of evil. Do you remember the young girl who was tortured in a basement until she died? Well, there have no doubt been more than one, but I'm referring to Sylvia Marie Likens. And she was only 16 years old, and for 3 months was increasingly neglected, belittled, sexually humiliated, beaten, starved, lacerated, burned, and dehydrated by her tormentors. Her autopsy showed 150 wounds across her body, including several burns, scald marks, and eroded skin. Yeah, y'all like to go on about how sad it is that your God Jesus was beaten and hanged on a tree. Well, he was a grown man. His misery didn't last 3 months, and he was a God and planned this himself. Not only that, but he came back alive in about 40 hours. You think what happened to Sylvia was awful, don't you? Of course you do, because it was. And it's nothing compared to what you think your God is going to do to humans. Probably even poor young Sylvia, who, if your hell is real, will most likely end up there. Now, I know what you say. You just don't understand how horrible sin is. Oh, but I do. I absolutely do. What happened to Sylvia was unconscionable, but it was still nothing compared to your God's response, not just to that horror, but to slight offenses. Your God is the original snowflake. He whines if somebody looks at him cross-eyed. Well, he would anyway, if he ever made an appearance and somebody could actually look at him at all. And this hell you claim exists was Yahweh's plan from the very beginning. This is who he is. And you hold his coat and say, "Burn 'em, Lord, burn 'em all." Do you know what that makes you? It makes you repulsive and ghastly. It makes you a coward, too, because you bow to this monster in order to save your own hide. You would disapprove of what happened to Sylvia at the hands of humans, no matter what she had done. I know you would. Then you praise your God for doing far, far, far worse. But go ahead, call me and tell me how loving your God is. Tell me how he's calling out to me, come and bow down before him and suck up to him. Go ahead. But let me leave you with this question. Does a fountain send forth at the same place sweet water and bitter? Your God does. Oh, and one more passage, Isaiah 5:20. Woe unto them that call evil good and good evil, that put darkness for light and light for darkness, that put bitter for sweet and sweet for bitter. You think burning and gnashing of teeth and total darkness and misery are good. You have to in order to condone your God. You, my fundamental Christian friend, put darkness for light. You put bitter for sweet and sweet for bitter. Now, I no longer believe in your hell. I don't even believe the Bible teaches the fundamental view of this place. But you do, and you're okay with it. And if you're wrong about this God of yours, this is all on you. You approve of burning humans for not believing in a villainous, fake God. Right now, while you're alive, you think most human beings deserve to burn. That's how you see us. It's how you see all of humanity. We're garbage. Only a belief in your God grants us mercy, mercy that we don't deserve. We still deserve to burn just for being born human. More than that, even if your God is real but doesn't plan on burning people, if your view of hell is unbiblical, then again, this awful hell that you declare your friends and neighbors deserve this unfathomable pain that you think is justice, well, it's all on you. This is who you are. This is how you view me. This is what you think I deserve. You see me as trash. So you have to own it. And it's a horrible thing to own. You're saying, I believe the best punishment for anyone who doesn't serve my God is to burn forever. Sounds great to me. Can't imagine anything more just. Oh, and then if I'm offended by your odious view of me, I'm a snowflake. If I disagree, I'm persecuting you. And despite the fact that, as I said, you'd shovel the coat, burn me if your God asked you to, I am the immoral, depraved, and wicked one here. Justify that if you can. One more thing. Your hell is not even redemptive. It's vengeance, pure and simple. Jesus is coming in flame of fire to take vengeance on all who don't know his dad and who don't obey the commands of Jesus. And this vengeance is perpetrated by a God who doesn't even have the milk of human kindness in him. Unless it hasn't occurred to you that God can't love and also take vengeance. We don't take vengeance on people we love. I hope someday nobody alive will approve of and rejoice in the torture of others. It won't happen in my lifetime, but I do believe the time will come, and that gives me hope. Thank you all. Bye.